when I was going through breast cancer treatment, I had wonderful support from my family, my church family and friends, and one of my close friends was actually a survivor, so I never really felt like I needed a support group. However, when I moved up to Portland, I was fairly new to the area, didn't know that many people, and when I heard about the Pinks, I came down to check them out, and I realized I really did need a support group, people who had been through the same experience that I had been through, but not sitting around whining about it or mourning about it. They're getting on with their lives. They're passionate and supportive of each other. So it's been a wonderful experience. But I have learned that dragon boating is highly addictive. Agreed. Once you get started, you can't stop.
I asked a few questions and I found out that you didn't have to have any specific skills or prior, athletic ability, because I have never been athletic, and I thought this is perfect for me because it's people out living, having a good time, and still, you still have the camaraderie and the support of people in a similar situation without being depressed about it. So I really have been so thankful for Pink Phoenix. They have made all the difference in the world to me.
Well, just give me a minute or so while you have it on. So, you put it on? Oh, God.
There we go.
So, why don't we start with you saying your name?
Oh, my name is, I'll tell you what my name used to be.
Yes?
My name used to be Elverine Daugherty.
Oh, wow.
And no one can spell it. Shall I spell it? D-A-U-G-H-H-E-T-B-E.
That's
so
hard.
I saw an ad in the East Oregonian. They were going to start a breast cancer survivor team, and I always thought that would be so much fun. So when I moved here in '03, I went down to their Race for the Cure stand and signed up. I love it.
What do you get out of it?
Exercise, friends, and I'm very competitive. Plus, I'm a 17-year survivor, so that means a lot.
I went to get my t-shirts from my first Friends and Family walk in the Race for the Cure. And when I went to pick up the t-shirts, the volunteer, said to me, "Are you the survivor?" And I said, "I am." And she said, "Well, then you have to be a Pink Phoenix." And I looked at her and thought, "Oh dear, what might that be?" And she said, and I asked her, and she said, "Well, Pink Phoenix is a dragon boat team, and we're all breast cancer survivors." And again, I said to her, "And what is a dragon boat?" And she couldn't believe I didn't know. But she told me, and then she said she would be calling me in January for the orientation meeting. And I thought, well, there's no chance of that. I mean, she meets me here in September. She won't ever see me again. But sure enough, she called me in January, and I went to my first meeting and was absolutely in love with the team. The women were the friendliest I've ever seen. But what cinched it was my son and my husband were there asking me what I was going to do on a Saturday, excuse me. And I said I was going to look into this dragon boat team, and they both collapsed with laughter because being only 5 feet tall, they said, "You're so short, you'll fall right out of the boat." Ha ha ha. And I thought, well, we'll see. And so I went to the meeting. I loved everyone. I joined, and I've been paddling now for 8 years.
I love the racing, but I love the practices even more. I love the river, I love the birds, and I've seen salmon, I've seen sea lions and otters and osprey and eagles. I just love being down on a river with my sisters, sharing it.
I got in the boat during chemo treatment. It felt good. It felt like that cancer hadn't taken away everything from me. That that I could make a choice and that I could start something new and not have everything be about being weak and sick, but that I could find strength and that I could remember my strength.
It inspires me to want to be an advocate for breast cancer survivors, as well as an advocate for women, really promoting early detection so that we don't have to have new participants on our team.
I joined in January, and the reason I joined was because I always wanted to dragon boat, and every time I went over to Markham Bridge I saw them dragon boating, and I said someday I'm going to do that. Well, I'll tell you what it's done for me. What it's done for me is it's made me very strong physically, which has made me strong mentally, because prior to this I was really obsessed about reoccurrence, and once I physically got strong I really don't think about it as much as I used to. So and just being around all the other women, and just being around people who go through the same thing you've gone through and who understand, so I love it.
I joined Peaks because as a younger person, it's really hard to know, well, it's hard to find a support group when you're so young. The physical activity, for me being out in the water was fun, but also just knowing that I have finally found a group of women that I can connect with and have the support group with and the fellowship with, and even though I'm the youngest and there's people that are twice my age on this team, it's still a family and it's still a community and it's still people that I can talk to, be like, hey, how do you deal with this and how do you deal with that? I dream about it. I knew I was hooked when I'm in my bed and I'm like thinking, rotate this way and paddles up and doing all the motions. I knew I was hooked.